He's Casey, I'm Dave, and we are the Football Dudes. Welcome to the Sunday Six Pack, where we crack open six of the tastiest stories in the NFL. Are you ready, brother?
I am. Let's get it cracking.
All right. Obviously, a huge story to start things off here, Casey. The Browns trade Myles Garrett to the Rams for Jared Verse and a handful of picks, and obviously a massive acquisition for the Rams. But let's go ahead and start this discussion off with what the Browns got back.
Yeah, a huge haul for the Browns. And this was kind of like we're sniffing around this a little bit when they, reworked Garrett's
The
deal.
numbers, yeah.
But when you look at this, it's very like unlike the Browns. I think they hit a home run here. We've talked constantly, what timeline are you on? Obviously, the Browns aren't on a timeline where you're paying one of the top pass rushers in the league. They get Jared Verse, a guy that we like a lot, man. We saw this
Tons.
guy's motor all the time with the
Yeah.
Rams here locally.
And he's
He's
only
a
going
great
into his
player.
third season.
Third season, so you're getting him
Cost
cheap.
control.
Yeah, for the next couple of years, and the production is off the charts. It's actually very similar. Not only that, they get another first rounder in 27, a 28 second rounder, and a 29 third rounder. So this is the gift that's going to keep on giving.
Right.
And the Browns need a ton of picks. They're already working towards that. So I think this is a great deal for the Browns coming off an era where they've had terrible deals. This one, pretty sexy.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Sometimes it's hard. Really, the picks are the big unknown here.
Mhm.
There's a lot of coming back. We know that Jared Verse is a known commodity, and that's a huge thing. It winds back the clock in terms of what the timeline for the Browns to get the team kind of rebuilt. And Jared Verse is going into his third year rather than a guy going into his ninth year or whatever it is for Myles Garrett. And it, like you see, it keeps coming back every year. They're going to get another extra pick in it, and right now they're kind of set up with a boatload of picks coming up for next year's draft.
Oh, yeah, dude. So in 2027, they have 2 first-round picks, a second rounder, a third rounder, 3 fourth-round picks,
Wow.
2 fifths, and 2 sevenths. So they're going to have the ammunition to move up and do whatever they think they need to do in the draft, which everybody's already saying is going to be
The best draft.
draft.
So they have a ton of picks in the best draft in who knows how many years. They also have an interesting quandary at quarterback right now with 3 guys that are vying for the job: Deshaun Watson, as well as 2 second-year guys in Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. If that whole thing comes together, that's great. Then all of these picks become pieces around there to fill out that roster. And if it doesn't, then that's a ton of ammunition to go up and get one of these quarterbacks that's going to be coming out in the 27 draft. And there's a lot of good ones. We don't have to get into it, but yeah, if they need to hit reset on the quarterback button, they have the ammo to do it.
Yeah, and that's already coming off of the draft last year when they got Judkins and Fannin at KC Concepcion and Boston to this one. So whoever is going to be the quarterback is going to have a plethora of weapons at their disposal. So if that quarterback on the team this year, I don't know, but the Browns doing good. Weird.
Yeah. Let's talk about this Rams acquisition of Myles Garrett, dude. I mean, wow. The rich get richer here. The Rams get a dude who was the defensive player of the year last year, and they add that guy to Stafford, the MVP of the league last year. There's a ton of pieces. I mean, a ton of pieces on this Rams squad. Obviously, they're head and shoulders kind of now above as the favorites heading into next year.
And dude, it was about week 5 last year, maybe even before that, we're like, the Rams are a Super Bowl team. They could win it. The only problem with the entire team last year, some special teams action, but the defensive secondary. So they went out and they got Trent McDuffie, one of the best cornerbacks in the league, to this team, and now they add Myles Garrett. Dave, wait a minute. Did the Rams just get 7 primetime games with a possibility of 9? Did the NFL know something before we did? Because that's a lot of primetime games, but you add one of the biggest stars in the game to that to help close out the defensive side. Dave, is there any chance they could get Aaron Donald off the couch to come back? We know dude is still rocked out, man. We've seen the workouts. He actually had to work out with Verse last year that had a Verse puking, so he couldn't handle it.
That's right.
So the Rams are loaded for this season. Wait, where's the Super Bowl, Dave? I don't.
That would be at SoFi here in Los Angeles. So,
Wait,
wow.
when the last Super Bowl in SoFi?
How
The
about those
Rams.
Rams? They are stacking the deck. They are obviously pushing all the chips into the center of the table. They're going for it this year, no doubt. Like you said, the secondary with Trent McDuffie. They also brought over the other Kansas City Chiefs, Jalen Watson, back there. So they remake that secondary, which was a weak spot for them. When they last went to the Super Bowl, they did have a superstar defensive guy on the line there in Aaron, as you mentioned. Now they have Garrett. if Aaron comes out, if Aaron Donald does come back, then forget about it, man. This is crazy. The the Vegas odds for them in each of the different categories, win the Super Bowl, go to the Super Bowl, et cetera, have all taken a huge leap for the Rams.
Yeah, and the only thing I worry about is a little bit of the depth now. They have done a good job
right
when they use those picks of hitting some of these later rounds, but you've got a lot of those chips per se on just a handful of dudes up at the top. So as every team, you got to stay healthy. But man, on paper, this looks like a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and I think they are.
Without a doubt, dude. No question about it. Like you said, though, top heavy in the sense that lots of big money guys at the top and then a bunch of dudes to fill out the roster. So they stay healthy. They are going to be very, very impressive and hard to beat. All right, folks, if you want more of the Football Dudes NFL goodness, make sure to subscribe to the Trend Zone, now available for subscription on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcast. Casey, moving on to the next big story of the six-pack here. This one, the worst kept secret in the NFL. The Eagles trade A.J. Brown to the Patriots.
Yeah, A.J. Brown's going back to be reunited with Mike Vrabel. He's going to New England in exchange for a 28 first-round pick and a 27 fifth-round selection. So not terrible compensation for the Patriots to get Drake May, a definite go-to receiver, man. The production for A.J. Brown has been off the charts. Last couple of years, it felt like he and the Eagles and maybe he and Jalen Hurts have kind of soured, whatever the reason was. It was time for him to move on. We knew it had to wait till June 1st so the Eagles could split up some of that dead cap, which is quite a bit, but this is a great pickup for the Patriots, and you get him gruntled at least temporarily. This is a place he wanted to go, a coach he wanted to play for, so he's got the young quarterback.
He'll put down the book during the game.
Get in the playbook, so it'll be interesting to see. Patriots overachieved last year. This is a move that definitely helps them try to get back to where they were, which was a Super Bowl. Good luck with that, but Eagles had kind of made some moves we thought might be foreshadowing the A.J. Brown trade.
Yeah, no doubt. They acquire Hollywood Brown and a trade for Dontavian Wicks, drafted Mekhi Lemon, all of that stuff to join forces with Devontae Smith to be a nice arsenal for Jalen Hurts for sure. So, the Eagles did okay here, and it was pretty obvious, like you said, that the relationship there had soured beyond repair. So I think they did a good job. They didn't get a lot in next year's draft, a fifth rounder only, but a 2028 first rounder. That's pretty. Those picks are coming eventually. So that'll be a pretty good return when it comes.
And the Eagles stand by their guy. It's Jalen Hurts' team moving forward. They put out any, fires surrounding that.
And then, all these new receivers are going to be just fine with listening to whatever Jalen wants to tell them, right?
And even though A.J. Brown had Edelman's blessing to wear 11, he's going back to number 1, the number he wore at Ole Miss. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, righteous. All right, moving on, Casey. A handful of maneuverings here came down the wire today, starting up with London Calling, Casey.
That's right, baby. Drake London, the number 8 pick from SC. He got a big-time extension, 4 years, $141 million, includes up to 150 and 100 million guaranteed, dude.
Wow.
London, one of the most productive receivers those last couple years, and I still think he's ascending, man. He's a big body. He's a fast glider. So far, 309 receptions, almost 4,000 yards, and 22 touchdowns over 4 seasons. So this guy is a bona fide number one receiver and a player I like quite a bit. So I think this money is well deserved.
Yeah, I mean, awesome player. And had coming off a great season. So strike while the iron is hot. As far as you're talking with London, awesome deal for him. Awesome deal to keep him in the fold there in Atlanta. Casey, moving on. More receiver talk. Won't you be my neighbor?
Yeah, you're going to need someone, Dave, if you're talking about those gigantes up north. They go out and they sign Odell Beckham Jr., Juju Smith-Schuster, and Braxton Berrios. It'd be great if we're talking 2020, but
right.
for 2026 there, all vet minimum deals, not a lot of money here. But Dave, you just mentioned it, neighbors. I don't think he's going to be ready. That's why they go out and they try to get some, contingency plans. Beckham looked pretty sweet in that flag football game when the NFLers got demolished by Team USA, but other than that, dude, there's not much needle moving here. This is just precautionary in my book.
Yeah, I mean, Beckham was out of the league last year.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah,
where did he come from? Oh, Kansas City, and
33 catches in 17 games. I mean, modest production at best. And Braxton Berrios, nothing really to move the needle, as you mentioned. So, it's
if Beckham, OBJ can get back any of that form, they're going to sell some jerseys no matter what. But
he was a freak. He's back with John Harbaugh. He played in Baltimore under Harbaugh in 23.
Yeah.
He wasn't a difference maker necessarily, but he was a piece of the puzzle there. And so if they can get some productivity there, that'll be something.
And his last full healthy season, he was the Super Bowl MVP in that Super Bowl just a few years ago until he got hurt. So, but it's been a lot of injuries, dude, and you usually don't heal better from them the older you get. So,
all right, Casey, moving on to some defensive extensions. Some big names here getting some big bucks.
Yeah, Pat Surtain, the second, gets a $5 million raise for 2026 and a chance for $5 million more in 2027. He's been an all-pro. He's been a Pro Bowler. He's going to get paid if he gets to those heights again, so it's good for him. Steelers linebacker Nick Herbig gets a 4-year, $100 million extension, and Seahawks edge Derek Hall, he gets a 3-year extension worth $42 million. So defense wins championship, Dave.
That's right. Just talk to the Seahawks, right? Yep. Casey, moving on to the fourth story of our six-pack. This is since the college football expanded the playoffs to 12, that's 2 years now, and going on our third year of that scenario. The college football playoff has gone directly head-to-head against the NFL for a couple of games on a given Saturday. That will be the case again this year.
Yeah, and just for like anybody that goes up against the NFL, it doesn't usually turn out very well from them. And unfortunately for college football, these games have kind of been duds the first couple of seasons. They're a little better last year, but they don't have the juice that late season NFL does. So I know in the next few years, the college will speed up this process and not sit for a few weeks and get the playoffs going right away. But until then, they're going to continue to get dominated by the NFL on those Saturdays. And you're using that Friday for only December 18th for one college football game. Maybe try to do a doubleheader on that Friday and not go up against the ratings juggernaut that is the NFL. I don't know.
Yeah, it is week 15, so that's mid-December, basically. The games are, in fact, the Seahawks facing the Eagles. That would be a 4:00 Eastern game, and the Bears facing the Bills at 7:20 in the evening. So, wow.
NFC Championship potential matchup and a Super Bowl potential matchup. Good luck, college. Sorry.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. All right, moving on, Casey. Speaking of moving on, it's time that Russ start cooking, but in a different way.
Yeah, Russ will be the next contestant on Top Chef. No, just kidding. Actually, he's going to CBS, be part of the NFL Today. Dave, I haven't watched this show in 10 years. It's terrible. I don't think Russ can save it, but
No,
Russ does have the personality for, this post NFL playing career in the studio. He's a pretty eloquent guy, very likable. I don't know if he's enough to save it. Matt Ryan kind of had the most juice, and he bounced to go, be part of the Falcons. So
yeah,
good for us. We knew this was something that he would eventually do. Thought he might try to hang around this year, but you know what? He's got a beautiful wife, got beautiful kids. Why not go sit in the studio instead of
it's
on the
easier, right?
sideline?
I mean, it's
Way
time to stop
easier.
taking the beating and all the practices and for what, to be a backup? No, they weren't going to give him the starting gig. So yeah, he's going to be hanging around with James Brown, Nate Burleson, and Bill Cowher and pulling a nice paycheck, I'm sure.
Yeah, dude. So, and those gigs don't come around all that often.
That's
So,
right. That's
if you
another
wanted to
good
wait
point.
till the next cycle, who knows when that's happening? Someone
Yeah.
might jump in front of you. So, good for us. Dave, Hall of Famer?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if the numbers bear it out. Obviously, 2 Super Bowls with 1 victory there. Um, man, but that interception, yeah, not that I'm going to hold that directly against him, but man, what a bummer.
Give it to beast mode.
It's just, what could go wrong?
Oh,
Oh, man. All right. Last story of the six pack here, Casey. Vikings. Some new stuff happening for Minnesota and the Vikings.
yeah, they get their new GM, Nolan Teasley. He gets promoted. He's actually was with those Seahawks in those Russ Super Bowls. And the last one, obviously, he was the assistant GM there. He's going to be the main dude in Minnesota. Like I said, 14 years with the Seahawks. Got started there and kind of worked his way up. So he's seen that side of it. Was a football player in college and now has spent the majority of his adult life in the front office. So I think this is a good fit for Minnesota, who the last years had really a mixed bag of stuff, to put it lightly. They let go of Sam Darnold last offseason, and Sam left and won a Super Bowl just the year before. Had those Vikings at 13-3. So some questionable moves in Minnesota. They're hoping Teasley will be the guy to get them over the top and keep on that trajectory that they assumed they were on.
Yeah, and on the other side of the equation, we've got the Seahawks losing the guy, but turns out, according to the league, Teasley does qualify as a diverse candidate under the NFL provision that gives the Seahawks a pair of third-round compensatory draft picks, which are tasty picks right there, like right around 96 to 100 in that area. So pretty nice return for the Seahawks there.
Absolutely. And then, we're getting to the point where is it KOC's team or is it going to be Teasley? Are those
That's a
guys
good
going to
question.
have a good working relationship moving forward? You would think they'd try to figure some of that out before they go ahead and make the move here, but that's going to be a big part of what happens with this team moving forward. Got Kyler Murray coming over in the offseason. Early reports are it's going to be Kyler's job to lose. So we know KOC is the quarterback whisperer. Can he get Kyler to the next level? And if he does, Teasley coming over, make good on those picks moving forward, and the Vikings can be right back in the mix. But Dave, tough division, brutal schedule.
Yep.
It's gonna be a tough season for the Vikes.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see the power structure there with O'Connell, whether they're on equal footing, whether O'Connell reports to Teasley, the GM. Obviously, the way things transpired with the previous quarterbacks that they had installed when they had Daniel Jones and they had a Super Bowl winning caliber quarterback on the roster there, and they let those guys out of the building, and then that GM goes away. So we'll see how it works out, though. But Kevin O'Connell, like you mentioned, he's going to get the most out of those quarterbacks. So whether it's JJ or Kyler, we'll see.
And the Vikes 2028 NFL draft. Move the change, Dave.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So they are going to, they're being school. That's right. They'll be hosting the draft in 28. And that is pretty exciting because the draft has continued to grow, grow, grow. And that is going to be an awesome, awesome situation for the city of Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, you got that right.
All right, folks. So many ways you can check out the Football Dudes Trend Zone. And the Trend Zone Sunday Six Pack, now available for subscription. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search for the Football Dudes. We are there. Like us on Instagram and Facebook, and follow us on Twitter, X, at Football Dudes LA, and make sure you tag us across all social media platforms.
Or just go to footballdudes.com. It's all there for you. That is going to do it for this episode of the Sunday Six Pack. We're not the suits that talk football. We're the dudes that know football. For Casey, I'm Dave, and we are out of here.